freedom, happiness, and inner peace. Now, when we say freedom, yes, freedom comes from the money, freedom comes from the house, freedom comes from the possession, but still we are bound. There is a binding on these possessions, and that is why the Eastern wisdom says the ultimate freedom, permanent peace, and inner happiness comes from the real self or the pure consciousness. I have to recognize, realize that I am the pure consciousness. So that I-ness, as long as it is identified with possessions, relations, we fall short of the permanent peace and happiness. We have to, we have to, anyhow, directly or indirectly, we have to find our true nature. But the problem is, that is what we were just talking about, that we are searching the peace and happiness outside in the world, where I am not. I am searching money, it is outside, but I am not in the money. I am searching the house, but I am not in the house. I am searching the happiness in clothes and eat food, but I am not there. I am not present there. I only come in contact with them, and that gives me pleasure, short term pleasure. Anything, including the money and including any possessions or relations. As long as we are in contact with them, we may find peace or we may find stress. And that is where the Eastern wisdom, our masters, spent almost thousands of years. They experimented, oh, let us live in the Himalayas alone and see whether I can realize that permanent happiness or not. So it was an experimental phase very early in ancient times. Then they also did an experimentation whether living with the same possessions, but only one thing, that I remain de identified. I am not attached to anything. So there was a great master, Janaka, who was a king of a kingdom, but he was also a great master. So they proved that that real self is independent of anything outside, anything and everything outside. It is independent of possessions, relations, pleasure, food, and that is why, that is why the concept of penance and austerity entered into this journey. So it has two roles. Initially, they said, "Oh, let us live only with two pairs of clothes. Can I have a permanent peace and happiness?" And they achieved it. They achieved it. So now, gradually, what happened? Eastern wisdom underwent evolution of the knowledge. Knowledge evolved during the last 10,000 years by our great masters, and they realized that real self is independent, all pervading, one consciousness in every, it is pervading every. Once I recognize and realize that consciousness, it gives us a total freedom and it results into end of suffering. Then the question came that what to do. So the entire Eastern wisdom, we say it is an instrument of knowledge. Instrument of knowledge by which we can realize the real self. So when I say instrument of knowledge, it means my intellect, my mind should be capable, qualified, and ready to treat this path of self-discovery. No, but what about those hundreds of rituals you're asking me to chant Om and use the mantras? Yes, to redirect the mind to the real self. All these practices of asanas and the pranayama and the mantras and hundreds and practices were used again as an instrument of knowledge to reach to to unfold that consciousness in us. So normally what happens in a modern society, people take these rituals and the practices as if peace and happiness are located in these practices. I used to go to New Jersey in one of the big studio, and she is the owner of the studio. She is hardly 40 years old. She was at that time hardly 35, 36 years old. So she invited me to have a couple of sessions of mindfulness. So, so she said that you send me your profile resume. I will put it on my website. So she saw that I have 40 plus years of experience. So when I went there, so she also told me I also have 20 years of experience. I said I appreciate it. Why shouldn't I? Why should I be jealous? But after the second and third session, I asked them that how you entered into this journey. So they had a fascination of doing the asanas, the postures. And this beautiful girl had 3 surgery of the spine because she was demonstrating the practice of the asanas to attract her clients. So I did not say anything to her, but internally, in my mind, I was thinking, oh, that is why 20 years of experience, and because of yoga, you have 3 spinal surgeries. You did these postures because if you are obsessed with doing these asanas, it is not going to work for your spiritual unfoldment. Patanjali, the great master, says you can do all the postures provided it is required, provided you need them. That is why we have hundreds and thousands of the postures. But gradually, initially, you see, you start with the 5 postures, 20, 50, but after 50, you reduce, you return to only 1 or 2 of the 6 meditative postures by which you can absorb yourself into meditation, into the meditation postures. That is the process. But we take it in a different way. So that is why, again, I am stressing it is Eastern wisdom is an instrument of knowledge. So I have to use my discerning intellect, not my judgmental intellect, to pursue the path. Judgmental intellect means, oh, I like these postures, so I will continue to do it. And then my spine breaks up and I have to go for a surgery. I'm just talking to you, otherwise I don't talk. It's my profession. So,
yeah.
So the human aspiration, so Master says that why don't you sit down on a lazy chair and contemplate and reflect what exactly you are seeking in your life. You want to get married to be happy after the marriage, or why you don't discover the happiness before and then get married? Well, I will be happy by having this much of money. Let me be happy first, and with that happy mind, let me continue my profession. This is just an instrument of knowledge. This is a point of understanding. But no, I cannot be happy without the money. I cannot be happy without getting married. So it means because of ignorance, you perceive happiness is present in the marriage, happiness is present in the house, happiness is present in the wealth. And now almost everyone started saying that you cannot buy happiness. So I not only that I know that I should intellectually know that I cannot buy happiness by anything outside. At the same time, I should also ask myself then where the happiness is located. And that begins the journey of the self discovery. That begins the journey of the self discovery. So, with that evolution of the knowledge, then Master said that we have two eyes. One is the false eye, other is the real eye. The false eye is the body-mind complex. I am attached to the body, I am the body, I am attached to the mind, I am the mind. So there is a body-mind complex. So that is the first. So I have to inquire deeply whether I am the body-mind complex or I am independent of it. And ultimately, then Master gives another principle that how to understand it. So whatever is changing is false eye. Body is constantly changing, mind is constantly changing, ego is constantly changing. That is the false eye. And there is something that does not change at all since our birth. At the time of the birth, you are in. When you were 5 years old, you were in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, and now you are still in that and identified with the real self. But we identify that name with the body mind complex. So the master says, find out anything that is totally independent of everything is you. As in, as one end during since your birth until now, there is only one end that is unchanging. But what changed? 5-year-old body, 10-year-old body and the mind, 20 years old body and the mind, 40 years old body and the mind. They keep on changing. And they are still changing. They are still changing. Look at it. How logically they have found out. And then they said, think of it, that why you are suffering because you are attached. You identify yourself with the body, mind, and the world outside. As long as this attachment continues, so where lives the attachment? Then the Eastern wisdom found another principle. Attachment, all our experiences takes place in the mind. Think. All experiences, good, bad, high, low, excitement, enjoyment, everything is taking place in the mind. So I eat the food that I like, I cherish it, I enjoy it. My mind wants to repeat that experience, pleasurable experience. So then only my mind says I like this food. I always love to have this food. So that causes the attachment. Now I hate this guy. So I want to stay away from that guy. So that experience is also happening in the mind. So it means then the master started creating another principle. Look at it. any repetitive experience for the pleasure or escape from the pain which is happening in the mind, it is the impurity of the mind. Because repetition, you are not getting permanent happiness. So it is just impermanent. It is constantly changing. You have to become aware of it. You have to inquire. Just do the self-inquiry. The food that you like served on the plate, 15 minutes or half an hour you ate that food and you had that moment of the pleasure. After half an hour, where the pleasure is gone? Pleasure is gone. So it comes in contact with the food and your tongue, and the mind processed that pleasure because I like this food. Oh, so like is the liking becomes an attachment problem. You continue to like certain food, yeah, it's okay, but you are not obsessed with it. That leaves the mind free, makes the mind free. But again, question. You see, everything is logically explained. No, no, you are saying that real self is independent of even the body mind complex. It is independent of the body mind complex. Yes, 100%. We stick to that understanding. Then you are saying the mind is constantly changing. Then you also say the real self is independent of the mind. Yes, we say all this. Then how come you say that because of the impurity of the mind, because of the impurity of the mind, the real self is hidden behind it? It's such a logical question. And the master gives a metaphor. You see that in front of the mirror you stand and it is dust, full of the dust. Can you see your image? No. Did the dust enter into the mirror? No. But still, the dusting in the mirror, the dirt on the mirror, prevented you to see your image. The same thing with the mind happens. The mind dusted. The dirt of the mind veils the real self. Otherwise, the real self is like a mirror. Real self is like a. You see the logical steps. We are not talking of any cult, and rituals are practice, or some practices are done to remove that dirt. That is all. Even if you use the cloth and the water to remove the dirt from the mirror, nothing is happening to the mirror. Mirror is as it is. The real self is as it is. Nothing happens to the real self. That is why we say the real self is unchanging, all pervading entity that is independent of the body and the mind, that is independent not only of the dirt but also of the mind, dirt in the mind. That is the understanding of our masters. So how the journey begins? The journey begins by self-inquiry. We have to be very clear. Journey doesn't, it may begin by practice in the beginning, but until the mind is ready for a self-inquiry. What is the theme of the self-inquiry? The theme of the self-inquiry is, who am I? Who am I? No, I'm Girish, I'm man, I'm women. No, these are the names and the forms. You are classifying yourself into a group of living species, the human species with a gender. I'm asking who you are. No, I'm an engineer. No, I'm not asking your profession, who you are. So every time we ask the question, who am I? The mind gives the habitual answer. And that habitual answer points to the false I. So that is what Master says. We have to continue inquiring, who am I? And then the moment the mind gives an answer, we have to investigate whether that I is changing, independent, either changing or independent or unchanging, is dependent or independent, is 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 constantly, it was not there in the past and then it comes in the present and it leaves. I was young, that young boy died. It was the past. It was the past. The infant died. So the Master says, the journey of life I have to leave. Journey of the life means what? Last point, that's also very interesting and important. Journey of the life. You recently went to Germany. Yes, from US to Germany. So you picked up the flight at the airport. If you don't leave the airport, you cannot go to the Germany. Journey of life. So I'm just comparing the journey to Germany, from US to Germany. And then you landed at German airport, and then you picked up the car, and then you reached your home. So you see that at every point in the journey, I have to be with someone, then I have to leave. You bought a ticket, you left your house, you reached to the airport, and then you take off boarded on the plane, then you left the airport, then the airplane was flying, then you left the plane. You see that in the journey of the life means I have to leave step by step, everything. I have to leave. But if I get attached to, say for example, if you are attached to the US airport, no, I don't want to leave this, but still I want to go to the Germany. Not possible. Not possible. This idea, this understanding, we don't use in our day-to-day life. My son said me something. Okay, it is said, done, finished. It is the journey of life. Finished. Yesterday I had a pain, but now why I am complaining about the pain that I had yesterday? Finished. Journey of the life. Finished. Finished. Done. So that awareness is required. That is why we had hundreds of these practices, because people do not realize, do not have this subtle understanding. Then we say, okay, go on doing the practice. I will give you a lot of practices. And then only you can find out, you can reach to a state of it looks very simple. But we have to be consistent in learning and listening, contemplation and reflection and practice. Then only we reach to that state of awareness where I see that I'm independent. What happened yesterday? Oh, who cares what happened yesterday? That's a part of the journey. You don't remember that how long you stayed at the US airport and then how long you stayed. No, it was a journey. I need not to remember. So what happened yesterday, I need not to remember. I need not to remember. Somebody insulted me and somebody praised me. That was also a part of the journey. That is also a part of the journey. That we don't recognize because of the impurity and the ignorance in the mind. And once we find that awareness inside us, we enter into what we say the awakened state. Close your eyes. Eyes are closed and eyes are closed. Place. Find out a suitable place for so-called the practice. Is the practice in the knowledge? The place, position, and posture. So the place. Once you found the place, surrounding awareness is required. You are not doing anything. You are not changing anything outside. You are just aware of the surrounding, means the space just outside the body, the items in the room, and the articles in the room. You just become aware. Articles in the room. Why we do that? Why we do that? Our senses are always active, are active during waking state. So we want to see and check. Mind continues the journey, continues to self discover. That is why we are aware of the place. That is why we sometimes, as a ritual, we burn the incense sticks, we create some good atmosphere. Atmosphere is always good. My mind is not good. Surrounding is always good. So here we say my mind is not good. So it means we are a higher level of a seeker. So we see the independence of that awareness. And now we look at the position of the body. The position of the body should be, position of the body means it should not be at unease. There is no discomfort at all. There is no pain. So we find the most comfortable position. And the same thing with the posture. So we check the posture means any position of the body. Any position of the body that is comfortable means there is no stress or stretching. There is no why? Because the mind will continue to experience, mind will continue to experience that stretching, and it will, we discussed, it will create a dirt around the real self. That is why we are treating the path, and that results into understanding that what it is means by being comfortable. Being comfortable, very good. So very good, comfortable. Being comfortable. So I give you the step of that. You look at the neck joint. So when you look at the neck joint, you are training the mind. How are you training the mind? By just looking at the neck joint. Yes, I tell you, you're training the mind. How? You look inside where the neck joint starts. Is that training? Yes. It's a training to help the mind to live within, to move within. and live within. That is only a training. We have nothing to do with any joints of the body because body mind complex is not me. Like the dirt, if I want to remove if I want to remove the dirt, I need I need a cloth or a some washer fluid, but it has nothing to do with the mirror or even the transparency of the mirror. It is already there. It is independent. Now, with that understanding, we need that understanding to do the self inquiry. So, look at the shoulder joints. So, your mind is looking at the base, at the root of the joint, means mind is being trained to look within and experience the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. Look at the hip joint, be there sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So now we experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness in the entire body. Deeper the understanding, greater the practice. Deeper the practice. Remember this, greater the understanding, deeper the practice. Deeper the practice. And then being carefree. So now you see the same steps, but I'm giving you the same steps as a very deeper level of understanding. And now being carefree, being carefree. Where is that meaning of being carefree? Removing the dirt. Removing the dirt from the mirror that is real. Oh, how it is possible? How you are using this metaphor here, being carefree. So what is being carefree? Free from all the cares. Free from all the cares. And then who cares? The mind. Who cares the mind? How it cares? It cares by its past experiences, thoughts, feelings, emotions. So these thought, feeling, emotions veils the real self. Oh, so it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with me means real self. Answer is yes. What the dirt and the cloth and the washer has to do with the mirror? Nothing. Independent. So what should I do now? Do nothing. What does it mean? That is what I should do, nothing. What does it mean? It simply means you watch, the thoughts are coming and going, they are not you. Thoughts are coming and going, it is not you. Thoughts are coming and going. So the way we understand, oh, there is a dust on the mirror. Oh, let me make it clean. Same way, same way. We Clean the mind. How? By not associating with any thought, feeling, emotion, etc. But in the earlier part of the journey, that mind sticks attach itself at a subconscious and the habitual level. So drop that habitual level of the mind, we go for another step. That is what? Look at the head and the neck, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. So, this sensation, relaxation, stillness means I check mirror is clean. I'm using the metaphor even for the practice. So, looking at the right arm, mind is looking at the right arm from the shoulder to the fingertips, and you experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Mind is looking at the left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Moving the mind, moving the mind on the chest and the belly, awareness, experience, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. The mind looks at the right leg being there, feeling the sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Mind looks at mind looks at the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Mirror is independent. Use the same metaphor for understanding. That is the real self. Dusting is because of the mind. So we are following these steps to for the mind itself. Otherwise, nothing happens, nothing changes to the transparent mirror. Nothing changes to the real self. So the entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness acts as if the mirror is clean. In that state, there should be a breath mindfulness, not breath concentration. Many people make the mistake, oh, let me focus on the breath. You know, when you focus the breath, you are relaxed, no doubt. But that is not what our masters have taught us. I am just aware of the breath. That is all. What that means? I'm aware of the breath going in and out. I'm aware, I know. Aware means I know the breath is moving. I know the breath is going in and out into the body, not into me. And I know the breath has some sensation that I feel at the tip of the nose. Finished. So, in a way, I'm not doing anything. I am just aware of the breath. Remember this. I'm going taking you to very deep. I am just aware of the breath. I am not doing anything. Yes, I'm not doing anything. I'm clear. I am aware of the mirror, and that instantly makes me aware of the image because I am in front of the mirror. You have found your real self. But if we focus means the mind is making an effort. Making an effort also creates a dirt, and that veils the real self. Very higher level of understanding with the practice. There is nothing to be, there is no further guidance. When I say I'm aware of the mirror in front of the mirror, so I see my image, I see the real self. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms, know your experiences. Bring the hands down.